I keep meaning to write something about the future of journalism, where we are coming towards the end of 2023, but I guess I just sort of, how do I say, just get a bit busy doing what I do. Your Harlow, we passed over I think we have nearly 4,000 stories this year. Your Thurrock, not sure, 1,500, somewhere like that. It's just what I do, and I have done since September 2008. How many years is that? Is that 15 years? 15 years. So what can I say about the condition of journalism? I do what I do. And what is it I do? Well, in this little office, as you can see, boxes for Christmas. Here I am, my little office in my house. As I say, some days I want people to think I'm the Washington Post until it gets heavy, then I'm a little guy next to the woods. Most days, left hand's writing the story, right hand's chasing the invoice, or the other way around. And I said we do feel the model is more like recording artists who I liked, who left their labels in the 70s and the 80s and set up the recording studio in the house and dealt directly with the distributor. You're never going to make a million, but your products are own. And that's what I do. Or maybe if I'm being a right flight of fancy, maybe a bit like the Private Detective series I used to watch in the 70s. A guy just sort of floating around on his own. For our more mature readers, everyone remembered Alfred Burke in Public Eye. I think that's sort of that feel. Or Jim Rockford on a good day. And that's what I do is I report local news every day. Is there a solution to it? Yes, report local news. And do that, and if you're not doing that, and I don't know what the answer is, because, and I say that in a flippant way. I say it in a flippant way, not a flippant way, but the exasperated way, as again, niche reference. Laurence Olivier to Dustin Hoffman, who's doing method acts in the film Marathon Man, when he said, "Why can't you just, dear boy, why can't you just act? Why can't you just report local news?" I don't understand that. And yes, I could quote, the demise of the printed, the group, those who at their heart is print, and digital doesn't look like it's working. Well, yes, as the Cairncross Review said, they're in the queue with Kodak cameras and Blockbuster video stores, etc. See Bend in Oregon for details. That's where they are. Do I hold any solutions? No. I'll keep doing what I do. It's good enough for... this is why I come a bit David Brent. If it's good enough for Ridley Scott still be making films like Napoleon at the age of 85, then it's still a good little old me at the age of 62 to go to council meetings and stand by crime scenes. As long as it's not too cold. But that's where we are. Yes. I'm going to do that. It's a bit like I'm not racist, but I'm not going to criticise others. But Neil Spate, my esteemed colleague down in Thurrock, 40 plus years in the business, pointed to the lack of news, the lack of original news in the last couple of Thurrock Gazettes, which seems to be 7, 8, 10, 12 stories, paper like that, 160,000 people, and they're local democracy reporters, taxpayer funded, but there's no byline saying that reference local democracy reporter, etc. Name of the reporter though, and then has a big editorial that went out this week, and that's actually the heart of it, this big editorial with the big boys going, as we call them, complain about the BBC and BBC parking their BBC growing more online presence in different places, and I think they're not happy about it, and I think it's the tax on the back of the taxpayer. So their argument is in the back of the taxpayer. I would just say compete, I think. Or do I say anything? Do I just crack on, with our website? And sometimes, people talk about getting worried about page views. Your page views are at the vagaries, I guess, if you're using Facebook a lot, at the vagary of Facebook and Meta and what's going on. So, people, I think, sounds a bit vague. I think my advertisers and my readers, it's the busyness. It's busy. They can see it, the stories. They can see the commitment. They can see me trying to promote their product on all shapes and front as much as I can. and its commitment. If you've got a commitment to a town, you're passionate about. I'm passionate about Harlow. I like. I just like. I like what I do as well. And that's important. That I think have a journalist in every town who's interested in his town, interested in her town. That's going to go a great way. I know it sounds a bit vague. Should there be government? There should be discussions about what government support without compromising your neutrality. You must be aware of doing that. I think I work really hard, and I think the stuff I must be missing that hold people to account. The stuff I can't just do, because I don't have the time in that way, or I'm just not bright enough. There must be a way of doing this, and that's a challenge to Labour when it comes in, if it comes in before January 28, 2025. October the 24th, by the way, folks, next year. That's when the general election is going to be. There must be a way of people getting together. That's a question I spoke to Jonathan Reddles, the Shadow Business Secretary. I mentioned that to him asked him that question a few months ago. But there must be a solution to this, because it's a great profession. It's really important. Celebrating the good, scrutinising the whatever, but a solution must be found. I hail those who are doing well. There are. I look at the independents that I'm amongst, and the work they're doing, and some, and all shapes and sizes, different models. There's some like me. There's some flourishing greatly using all models. There's some using paper, whether it's the guys at Enfield, the Social Spider guys, or is it Wokingham? Is it Wokingham, Phil? Phyllis in Edinburgh, etc. But and I'm sure the universities and colleges are producing people. I've spoken to some great students around the country. But there must be a radical rethink and a support about the whole structure of what we can do. I've rambled on now, but I just I'll keep doing as I said what I do. I just want to. I'm just thinking about it, and I hope something can get done. This is my Hyperlocal Bible. Thank you. Bye bye.